It's question time. Welcome to the show. I'm Benga Ashiru. Now, imagine a world of people trapped in some unfortunate string of circumstances when hopes and dreams becomes miserably obscure. That's the fate of some people who, like you and I, have lofty dreams, but suddenly have their hopes dashed in one fell swoop. No thanks to the unending cycle of Boko Haram violent attacks. Today, they are homeless, and for those at schooling age, returning to the classroom is a nightmare with strong reminders of tragedy as reality confines them to the camp of the internally displaced in the Northeast, desperately waiting for intervention. Today, Nigeria is home to 2.4 million IDPs, which is the highest globally. With the Presidential Committee on Northeast Initiative saddled with a key mandate of reconstruction, rehabilitation, and rebuilding the Northeast, will the Northeast return to its once peaceful past? Now, we had a chat with the Vice Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Northeast Initiative, PCNI, Allegation Tumsah. It says the PCNI is committed to returning the Northeast back to normal life.
The mandate of the PCNI is primarily to coordinate all these interventions that are going to the Northeast, the 3 Isles and beyond. What we have done so far is to have a coordinated approach to the interventions in the Northeast by getting together all the plans and the assessments that have been done over the years by a variety of actors, the United Nations, the state governments, private individuals, and so on, to come up with a strategic implementation framework, which we call the Buhari Plan. And this now is a guide for all interventions going to the Northeast.
Now we're in a peculiar times now. It's the raining season. So I wonder how is the operation going in terms of finding a template for resettlement now. Would the people be able to go back to farming because their major occupation in that area is farming? Would they be given farm tools to return back to normal life?
Yes, in a lot of areas that they have moved back to, we have been able to secure areas that they can return back to farming. In that regard, a lot of farming implements and inputs have been distributed and are in the process of being distributed to people who have returned right now.
Can the military guarantee their safety?
Well, the military can guarantee safety of spaces within their confines and within the areas of their operations.
When we talk about restoration of displaced communities, it appears most of your efforts is concentrated in Borno State and leaving other states of the Northeast like Yobe, Bauchi, Gombe, Adamawa, and Taraba.
Well, actually, the major brunt of this insurgency has happened in Borno State. Borno State has had the major brunt of the insurgency. Therefore, they have had more areas ravaged by
other states
insurgency.
have had their fair share.
Yes, I'm coming to that because other states like Yobe and Adamawa have also suffered tremendously. However, it also depends on the resilience of each and individual community.
So have you taken a comprehensive inventory of the quantum of destruction and losses in those areas?
We have, on our own, undertaken an inventory of the losses that have occurred in all these states. Also, in conjunction with other partners, United Nations, the World Bank, we have done a cumulative study of the aggregate damage that has been done in the entire Northeast.
We have a scary reports that there have been several attacks in the IDP camps. And when you look at the most vulnerable are women and children. Some time ago we had reports that 30 women were raped at the IDP camp. So what are you doing to prevent a occurrence of this?
Well, I don't know where this story about 30 women being raped in camps came from.
But you heard it?
No, I haven't. I'm hearing from you now.
Up to date?
Yes, up to date. I haven't heard it. But the issue is that a lot more security apparatus has been placed in these camps. A lot more reporting templates have been put put in place in all of these camps. So you will see that the rate of abuse or rate of attacks has tremendously reduced across the camps. In any case, a lot of these camps, the target is to dismantle the camps and allow people to go back home, because they do want to go back home and resume their livelihoods. But before then, the camps are being enhanced in terms of security and in terms of care.
Who takes responsibility for securing the IDP camps?
The responsibility goes many ways, but the first and foremost is that the camps are under the charge of the state emergency management agencies, overseen by the national emergency management agencies, and also the security forces.
Now, how do you deal with the surging increase of the number of the IDPs? It used to be 1.8 before a twinkle of an eye. Now we are talking of about 2.4 million IDPs.
You see, the issue of insurgency, particularly in the Northeast, has been one that has been of tremendous challenge. The number of people that have been displaced is approximately 2.4 million people. They have been displaced across the Northeast and some parts of Nigeria also. And to contend with them is what we are trying to grapple with. And we have been making some progress, particularly with the recovery of these areas by the military. Some people are able to return back to their homes, but there's still a long way to go.
In terms of returning them back to their homes, what's the response like? Because we hear reports like some of them are not even willing to go back home. So how do you manage this challenge?
In terms of displacement, historically, not 100% of people will go back to where they came from after a displacement. And the return is also contingent upon what livelihood you are going to commence with once you go back home. So we are encouraging the return, which is voluntary for people who want to go back. And when they do want to go back, we make sure that we give them a way and means to start a livelihood.
If you look at the whole scenario of managing the IDPs and restoration of